you ever considered living in Barrie or are unsure of if this is the kind of area you want to live in? Well, we've got pros and cons for you for living in Barrie. Nice comprehensive list of what Dad and I think are the best and worst things for living in the area. Before I get into it though, if you could head down below and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell, stay updated with all of our content, and leave me a comment. Did we miss something? Did we, do you have something that you love about Barrie or absolutely hate about it? Let us know.
So as with any place that you live, there are pros and cons. And believe it or not, there are some cons with the city of Barrie. Jake, do you have a couple?
One of the major cons with living in Barrie is the fact that it is a commuter town or city. A lot of people that live here do commute to Toronto, which does mean that if you are looking to head north on the 400 from Toronto area, in the afternoons, good luck with that. If you're looking to head south during the mornings, good luck with that. On top of that, we've also got cottage country to the north. So in the same sense that it's like, oh, it's central and it's so close to everything. If you're trying to head north on the weekend, no, you're not. If you're trying to head south during the week, no, you're not. So it can get a little difficult in that sense. But obviously that does work its way into a pro because, it's what you need.
The schedule for the GO train, people think, you're taking the GO train down to work. It's not a direct line. If we ever had a direct line from Barrie to Toronto, that would be incredible, but there's a number of stops down there. So it is a bit of an inconvenience, absolutely.
Yeah, and then as well as, the commuter problems with the traffic, Barrie itself is not a very walker-friendly city. The north end of Barrie is a little bit better for this, but Barrie's transit, not the greatest, so it almost feels like mandatory to have a car. The city's just designed around it. People can obviously get around on public transit, but, it's not the best, as I mentioned, so you're just better off having a vehicle, which is another expense that you might not want to have.
The other thing is taxes in Barrie. Your property taxes in Barrie are ridiculously high. I believe they're probably higher than Toronto. People move up from here, they go, oh my goodness, like the taxes are insane. You can move just outside of town and the taxes are 60% of what they are in Barrie.
Everything is just becoming more expensive. I would be remiss if I didn't mention it at the very least. While it is more of a universal con, it does still exist. Speaking of existing, so does the weather. We do get 4 seasons in Barrie, which is seen as a huge plus by a lot of people. We've had some people come over from Europe. They love having 4 seasons instead of just the 1.5 they get over there. But our winters are cold as hell. There's a ton of snow.
But not as cold as Ottawa.
Fair, but it's still cold, snowy. At least with Toronto, you've got your layer of smog that keeps the snow away for the most part, but we don't have that here because it's beautiful. As a result, we do get dumped on in the winter, so hopefully you have a snowblower or a strong back because you're probably going to be shoveling out that car that you need to get around in the city in the first place. While I might not look like the oldest gentleman in the world, by many accounts I'm over the hill and no longer go downtown partying. Even if I did though, Barrie's nightlife is not exactly the most robust, we'll say. You've got your couple standard bars downtown for your entertainment and that sort of thing, but you're just not going to beat a place like Toronto. The fact that we have regional healthcare in the RVH is fantastic. Because of the population and the constant shortage of medical personnel, the wait times at the hospital are longer than what they should be. While it's great that you have access to it, the amount of time that it takes is definitely a downside that needs to be considered.
So why would anybody ever move to Barrie?
Because our pros outweighs our cons.
Oh, okay.
As with every con, there are pros, and it just so happens that every con that Barrie has is pretty well outweighed by the pro associated with it. Like, we have our commuter traffic that you have to deal with, but the pro to that is that you are close enough to the city to be a commuter city. So if you ever need to go down to Toronto, you've got that option.
Yeah, and once if you can handle the drive home, once you get home, you're so much more relaxed because of the quality of life that you're going to have. Much slower pace than what you would normally have if you were in downtown Toronto, as an example. The other is, we talked about our hospital. Yes, it is a very busy hospital. It is a regional center. The great thing with that is, as you get older, you end up having a few more complications, so you definitely want to have that regional aspect. So having such a large hospital here is a definite benefit.
Yeah, and on top of benefits over Toronto, you've got cost of living. While, around the globe, your cost of living is going up, we are still cheaper than Toronto, which is why so many people do decide to commute. It's just, like Dad was mentioning, you've got your, peace of mind, your lovely, beautiful scenery, all this stuff that you can just relax, peace of mind at home. You've got your lower cost compared to that of Toronto, and it's just nice.
Not to mention, we're on the water. A lot of people don't know that we're on the water. There's a beautiful trail in and around Kempenfelt Bay. If you're into boating, you can get into Kempenfelt Bay, go out into Lake Simcoe. You can pretty much travel wherever you want by it. Within about 15 minutes of Barrie, the number of trails that you can get onto to hike is incredible. The food in the city of Barrie, it's so diverse, and you can go from less expensive to some of our upper end restaurants. You're probably, for a couple with a few drinks and maybe a bottle of wine, you're probably somewhere in the $300 range. But you can also obtain that from, you can go out for dinner for, under $100 for two of you as well. So the food scene is excellent. Entertainment wise, Jake touched on it as far as a con, but we do have smaller theaters in here. So if you want more of an intimate atmosphere, Theater by the Bay, Georgian College has some great theater, and Barrie has a lot of talented people that, the bars that you're talking about, there's a lot of places where they have entertainment and people, you can go in and listen to them. So a lot of patios as well, enjoying, walk downtown, sit out on the patios. There's a lot of great lifestyle quality things in Barrie that you can't get in a lot of the other towns.
Yeah, I mentioned the fact that our winters suck here just because of the cold and the amount of snow we get, but to anyone who loves skiing, that's a huge plus. We've got Snow Valley, Blue Mountains, close enough that it counts. Because we get all 4 seasons, you've got activities for all 4 seasons. Yes, the city, you kind of need a car to navigate, but because you need a car to navigate, there's just so much spread out all over the place that you can almost always find something new to do between the parks, the trails, there's a splash pad downtown, there's this giant inflatable obstacle course that goes into the water during the summertime. There's ice fishing in the wintertime.
And there's fishing in the summer too.
There's regular fishing, non-ice fishing in the summertime. There's just so much to do through the 4 seasons, and if Barrie doesn't have it, like I said, we've got the cottage country just up north. You're within an hour, and there's so much within arm's reach of Barrie that if the city proper doesn't have it, you can basically reach out and touch it. So while you might need a car to go everywhere in Barrie, you might think, great, I got to pay for parking. Fortunately, for whatever reason, the powers that be decided that parking in Barrie, not really an issue. You don't have to pay pretty much anywhere. There are obviously select areas where you have to park. You'd never really run into an issue of, oh no, I need to find a place to park, or oh no, I don't have a loonie or toonie to pay for it.